You can eat any food and still burn fat by being in a caloric deficit. But the choices of those foods that you make is going to determine how difficult or easy it is to be in that deficit in the first place in order to burn fat. Here are 5 worst foods that you could be consuming during your fat loss journey, which is making things very difficult in terms of being in a deficit. It's important for you to understand that everything has limits. You can eat these foods that I'm going to mention in complete, moderation and still lose fat, but it's going to make it easier if you don't consume them at all during your fat loss journey. Egg yolks. Now this is a little bit tricky because I don't want you to completely skip out on the yolk because it has tremendous value to you. It has a lot of vitamins, it has omega-3 fats, the yolk has more vitamin B12 etc. compared to the egg white. It also has a bunch of amino acids which is going to help you stay away from heart diseases and also aid to your fitness goals. But here's the thing, 3 to 4 whole eggs is going to come up to 300 to 350 calories. And that's a lot of calories, but it's not going to keep you full at the same time. You're going to feel more hungry by eating so less. What I personally do while I'm on a fat loss journey is I limit my eggs to 1 to 2 max. 2 max if it's a leg day or something like that. But that's what I do. I definitely do not skip my egg yolk. I have at least 1 in a day. But compared to when I'm bulking, the quantity drastically drops. I have like 4, 5, 6 eggs sometimes in a day. That quantity really drops. I have more increased egg whites and just 1 to 2 max egg yolk, and this helps me add more protein to my diet without worrying so much about calories. As we all know, egg whites are very low in calories and very high in protein. On number 3, we've got chips and soda, and all basic junk food that you get in a supermarket. So now chips like Lay's chips, Kurkure, etc., they have a lot of calories first of all, and they're very high in trans fat, which actually what it does is it will raise your bad cholesterol, lower your good cholesterol, and risk heart disease, and it's not going to aid your goals as well. So it would be smart to stay away from snacks like Lay's, Kurkure, and all the 110 new types of chips etc. that they launched in the market. Why soda? Because it has an extremely high amount of sugar, and that's not at all going to help you be sensitive to insulin. It's going to do damage to your system and stall fat loss probably. But instead of having normal soda, you can have diet coke, you can have diet soda, so you don't have to worry. Another thing is that a lot of people worry about how dangerous diet coke or any type of diet soda is for you because of the artificial sugar used in it. It's not as much as you think. Like the quantity that they use to prepare these sodas, that quantity cannot do much harm to your body. So you don't need to worry so much about enjoying a diet coke every once in a while. And every once in a while, it depends person to person how often, but you can have it often. I'm not even going to say that you don't have to. You can have it often and not worry so much about your health, and not worry so much about the artificial sugar used. And at the same time, it is 0 calories, so that is going to be a win-win situation. And soda is always going to make you feel full, so it can complete your meal. You can use it to satisfy your cravings as well. So stay away from the normal regular sodas, switch to the diet version of whatever you like having. Stay away from all chips and sort of all that stuff, and any like fried chips, whatever it is, just stay away from all of it. If you can find a healthy, not even a healthy, just a low calorie option, you can add that to your diet every once in a while. You can enjoy that, not an issue. Even chips and stuff, you can enjoy it every once in a while. But once again, you should be highly calculated if you choose to do so. Number 2 on the list, we've got peanut butter. Now, this might come out a little surprising to many of you because these days they made peanut butter this whole fitness food, and this holy grail of fitness, high protein, all of this stuff, which it's not. It's really not. And if you look at it, peanut butter does have a decent amount of protein, okay, because it's made from peanut. But at the same time, if you see the majority of the calories, it comes from fat, okay? It comes from the fat source, not protein, not carbs. So it has a high amount of calories, and 2 tablespoons of peanut butter has like 160 to 170 calories, which is a lot, because once you actually put it in a slice and have, it's not going to be that much. It's really not going to be that much, especially not enough to satisfy you. And if you're someone who relies on peanut butter for a source of protein, you should stop that completely and you should look for some other source of protein, because as much as it is marketed as a good source of protein, a high source of protein, it's not. So especially if you're on a fat loss journey, it's probably doing more damage than good. But here's an exception: if you really love peanut butter, because these days peanut butter tastes just like Nutella. I swear to God, like chocolate peanut butter and Nutella. If you give me that, I can't tell the difference. So it's extremely good in taste. So if it helps you stick to your diet, if it makes your diet more exciting, you can add peanut butter in your diet. It's not going to be that bad. But at the same time, if you're someone who is looking to eat more and stay fuller, and your workouts are more intense, probably a better source of protein and little bit more added carbs instead of the amount of calories you're going to be consuming through peanut butter, having that is actually more, it's a better choice for you overall. Coming to the number one worst food that you could be eating during your fat loss are nuts. So we spoke about peanut butter, and now we're speaking about any sort of nut. Why you should probably not consume nuts during your fat loss journey is because it is extremely high in calories and it does not at all make you feel full. Now, you can have it as an add-on on something when you start your fat loss journey, but it's going to be smarter for you to cut that down as you go on cutting your calories. It's going to be smarter for you to remove those first instead of some carb source or even protein, because those are like somewhat like hidden calories, because you're not really, it's not a meal, neither is it like that tasty. It's not going to make you feel full. It's not going to, fats are known to keep you satiated, but let's be honest, like I personally, when I have nuts, I don't feel any sort of fullness, or I feel like my hunger has been suppressed, or just a better mood, nothing like that overall. I just feel like I want to have more food because some sort of calories went in my system. So that's how I feel. It's very, very small. You can easily munch on them. You can have a lot if you're not calculated. So right now I'm on my fat loss journey personally, and along with my oats, I had one whole walnut, basically two sides of them. I crushed them up and I had them. That's very less, and I am on 2,400 calories on my fat loss journey. And as I continue to cut the calories, this will be one of the first things to go. Not even the egg yolk, not anything. It's gonna be this. And then as we go, probably I'll reduce the carb sources, because having some sort of fat in your diet, not some sort of, you need to have minimal fat in your diet. Otherwise, your test levels are gonna crash. You're not gonna feel healthy. Your performance is gonna go down. So having the amount of fat that you need is very essential for multiple reasons, like I just said. So I'm going to continue having my other sources of fat, but not from nuts, because it's just not a smart option according to me, having nuts during your fat loss, especially if you're extremely hungry and stuff all the time. I'd rather just go eat half a whole watermelon instead of a handful of nuts, because that would make me feel better mentally and physically as well, keep me fuller for longer time. So these were the 5 top worst foods that you could be eating during your fat loss journey. And big disclaimer, it all comes down to caloric deficit, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So if you're someone who is struggling with your diet and any one of these foods is in your diet, consider removing them and replacing them with a very low calorie, high dense food. Okay, that's gonna make you feel full, like some sort of vegetable, like cucumber, watermelon also. Watermelon tastes fantastic, extremely low in calories, like extremely low. So if you could incorporate that, that would be great. Instead of having chips, you can have popcorn. Okay, extremely low in calorie once again. You can have loads of popcorn instead of suppose. And a pro tip is that if you're having milk in your diet, you can switch to skim milk. That's going to really push down the calories even further. It's not going to make you realize or you cut any calories at all. Just like hidden calories, it's just going to skim the fat out of the diet. You can do all of these things and cut your calories further down, and you don't need to suffer during your fat loss. You just need to do it smartly. End of the day, person A and person B both are on the same amount of calories, burning the same amount of fat, being in the same deficit, but person A feels like shit because they're making a bunch of, not mistakes, but they're just making the process much more harder by not consuming exactly these foods, but somewhat like these foods. Probably these foods could be anything, it just doesn't go well. Person B is being smart, is consuming high density foods which are very low in calories, staying full, is having meal timings, is probably fasting. All of these things together are gonna help you reach your goals much easier than it would actually be otherwise. So you don't have to suffer during fat loss. I've seen a lot of people suffer and stop the journey because they're suffering so much. So if you're suffering, you're not going to get there. So, but at the same time, understand nothing worthwhile comes easily. So you got to put in the work, you got to grind hard, you got to realize that you're doing this for a reason, and you have a lot of fat. You're going to burn that fat by being on a deficit. And you don't always have to go eat something if you're bored, etc. Stay focused, and I hope these tips have helped you or will help you. And let me know in the comment section if you want to see a top 5 best version, top 5 best foods for fat loss, or we can even do for muscle building. I'll see you guys later. Until then, take care, keep smashing your goals. I hope you lose all the fat that you need to. I hope you all get shredded as a mother.